Chicago Lamborghini dealer made millions selling to unauthorized customers.
Whoa.
At least according to the manufacturer.
That is a spicy headline.
Indeed.
That's what? Okay, tell me more, Doug.
Okay, well, Lamborghini sued the dealership Gold Coast Exotic Imports, which is based out of Chicago area, claiming that at least 32 transactions in 2023 appeared to be sales to non-retail customers in violation of a contract. In one case, the dealer claimed to sell one car to a former pro athlete when in fact it went to a convicted crook who wasn't a retail customer.
So being a crook means you're not a retail customer?
No.
Okay. Well, tell me more. Okay.
Apparently in this case, he was.
Interesting.
Some real corny lines in this article that we won't use because I didn't come up with them.
Yeah, how's it being on the other side, Doug?
Anyway, Automobili Lamborghini America is claiming that they were misled by their dealer about some of the customers who bought cars from the dealer. And once again, one of the customers was a convicted criminal who was an unauthorized reseller, says the lawsuit. That right there annoys me a little bit because I technically am an unauthorized reseller.
Doug.
I am not a Lamborghini dealer or a Porsche dealer or Ferrari dealer or anything like that. So if I buy a car from one of the franchise dealers and flip it for a profit because I'm a flipper, I would be an unauthorized reseller. But it's not illegal. I am just not authorized by the manufacturer to sell their cars new. No big deal.
Does this mean you're not a retail customer?
I could be if I paid sales tax on it.
Yeah.
That's the only difference between a retail customer and a wholesale customer because intent to resell has nothing to do with it because every Porsche VIP customer on the planet intends to resell all their GT cars that they've done for the past 10 years since they instituted that program. So intent is murky, but apparently in this case, allegedly, Gold Coast Exotic Imports was boosting their numbers by selling to people who were then flipping the cars for profit, maybe exporting them, maybe selling them into different regions. And the manufacturers have very strict rules on in order to protect their franchises and their territories about where dealers can sell. They can't sell into other dealers' territories because they don't want to get them into competing price wars. They can't sell overseas because that messes up their global distribution. They can't sell to people who are known for selling overseas. Again, none of these things are illegal, but it just has to do with a franchise agreement between the manufacturer and the dealer itself. And this is why this is a civil lawsuit. But they're painting it as if these resellers and convicted criminals are kind of one and the same.
Yeah, well, all of the wording makes it very confusing because it seems like on a lot of these articles that Lamborghini is suing because they sold cars to flippers, which isn't really what's going on.
Yes, it is what's going on. They are suing because they sold them to flippers.
Well, so there was something in these that says that it's because the dealership received $4 million in bonus money as a result of these sales.
Yes,
and that's the money that is causing the suit.
Correct.
Or because they falsely represented these sales to Lamborghini.
You're right. It's not the sale itself. You're correct. Because some manufacturers, some dealers can sell to brokers and resellers. Like, there's nothing legally prohibiting them from doing that.
Yes.
They can sell to whomever they want as long as it's within the law. They're not, it's not laundering money and, you follow the trail of where money comes from and cash payments and all that other stuff. But no, it's not illegal to sell to brokers, but there are, what you said, unit bonuses that get charged back to dealers if they find out that they've sold into regions that they're not allowed to sell to or sold to brokers. But once again, this article, and I think Lamborghini is trying to paint this dealer and flippers as being synonymous with bad people. One paragraph here says the vehicles were actually sold to, quote, brokers and, quote, resellers, including one who, quote, previously pleaded guilty in a criminal fraud case that involves selling luxury cars to drug dealers and pimps as a means of laundering money.
Oh, my
So,
gosh.
like, those kinds of things are, I mean, they're relevant, but it makes it sound like every broker and reseller is a money launderer. And a lot of them aren't. They're just non-factory authorized car dealers operating totally legally. But the manufacturer doesn't like it because they want to control their market and they want to have a good relationship and offer proper services to their retail clients. And when dealers looking to make a quick buck do things like this, it, in the manufacturer's opinion, hurts their brand. Now, there's also some other things alleged, Tyler, you mentioned about like payments on the side.
Yeah, the biggest thing I noticed is it seems like there were some incentives that Lamborghini was offering for sales, and I think there were stipulations on those incentives that the sales had to be of a certain type, and I think that's where the whole retail customer thing comes in. So the suit alleges that the dealership submitted and obtained these bonus payments, even though they didn't. They essentially lied when they were submitting the information to make it seem like it was the customers that Lamborghini wanted.
Right. But then I think there's another trick that dealers pull, and I know that a lot of them do this. I don't know that this was the case with Gold Coast, but I've heard many stories of dealers doing this where they will do these backdoor deals where the sales manager or owner, somebody will get cash payments or watches or whatever in exchange for doing deals with these resellers. Oftentimes when the dealers are required to sell the vehicles at MSRP, they go, well, they're going for 50 or 100 grand over. So we want that profit, but we can't do it because the manufacturer will get us in trouble, but we can't sell it to a broker because we'll get in trouble. So they sell it to a retail customer who then Rolex or something shows up at the sales manager's office, and then they get consigned back or resold. And it's just all these shadow games. So it would seem to be the case that maybe Gold Coast is double dipping here, where they're selling to these brokers and resellers thinking like, okay, we're getting payments on this side and we're getting the manufacturer spiffs because we're reporting these as retail sales. So
I will say there must be something going on, because if you go to Lamborghini Gold Coast and go to new inventory, there's nothing. They're only dealing in used cars at the moment.
Interesting.
So I think Lamborghini might not be sending them cars.
It's very possible. Very possible. I sure that is within their agreement to
Yes.
not do. So I have an interesting story about Bentley Lamborghini Gold Coast. When I was much younger and just getting into the business, I went in there. I was on a trip with a bunch of people from church, and we were just walking around Chicago. I was like, oh, I'm going to go in and look at cars. So I got talking with one of the salesmen, and he let me behind the ropes, and we're looking at Range Rovers and stuff. And we sat down at his desk, and the Range Rover Sport had just come out, and I was flipping those for a profit. And now Gold Coast prices were such that there was no way I was going to buy it from them and flip it for a profit. They were marking them up at the time, but I was at least trying. I was negotiating, and the guy said, well, if we can get this deal done today, are you ready to pay? I'm like, no, I'm on a trip, but I'll leave you a deposit and wrap it up when I get back. And he goes, well, what kind of deposit? I said $1,000. He goes, $1,000? What do you think you're buying, an effing bicycle?
Whoa.
I was like, it's pretty much the deposit I leave anywhere else on a Range Rover. So okay.
Wow.
Yep. So that was my experience with that, but I was an unauthorized reseller.
I know, they sniffed it out. I did look at their Google reviews, and I was surprised that people would leave negative reviews because they went to look at the dealer or look at the cars at the dealership, but they weren't intending to buy. Like, there were tourists that were just like, I want to see some cool cars. And they're like, these people were so rude to us. And I'm like, this is not what the business is for. I can't believe you leave. You can be upset about it. You can be annoyed. Sure. But leaving a negative review when you went into a business and did not participate in the purpose of the business is wild.
It's not a museum.
Yeah. Wild.
Yeah. Yeah. That's why we don't have a showroom.
Yes.
We're nice to people that come, but there's a reason we don't have a showroom. We'd never get any work done. Oh, man, that brings us to I don't know if we solved anything there, but we shed some light on what's going on, and, whatever. They're probably going to reach a settlement and money will be exchanged and they'll all move on. But that's the inside look at what's going on there. You might have thought it would never happen, but Switchcast is endorsing a transport company. Whether you're moving a rare collectible, a high-end sports car, or your personal luxury vehicle, Shaughnessy Overland Express delivers with precision, privacy, and respect. This isn't just transport, it's white glove care from pickup to delivery. For over 14 years, they've earned the trust of collectors, enthusiasts, dealers, and owners by offering unmatched service and personalized attention. You'll work directly with their experienced in-house team, ensuring a smooth and private experience without middlemen or surprises. Every shipment is protected with up to $3 million in cargo insurance, offering peace of mind for even the most valuable and rare vehicles on the road. In addition to their enclosed fleet, they've also established a trusted auto transport brokerage service, giving you access to a nationwide network of vetted, open, and enclosed carriers. Whether you need transport on a route they don't currently operate, or their carriers are at full capacity when your schedule demands, they'll still get it done without compromising the Shaughnessy standard of excellence. Same professionalism, same personal touch, expanded flexibility. We are proud at Switchcast to endorse Shaughnessy Overland Express as the official transporter of Switchcast. Visit soexinc.com and tell them Switchcast sent you. Shrewd negotiator, which is people trying so hard to buy or sell their wares, and usually trying a little too hard, and we like to make fun of them because we never do it ourselves. Never, ever guilty.
Nope, not at once.
997 C4S for sale, a 2007, which is right in the range of IMS and bore scoring possible issues, but of course it's a non-serviceable bearing on the 07, so it can be an issue, but it's not upgradable, and it's a lower percentage of failure than the old one. So a lot of people say it's not an issue. That's not true. Anyway, in his for sale listing, this is great, quote, IMS bearing checked, and it is not an issue for the 07. I had this checked with a, all caps, licensed pro Porsche race car driver who won championships nationwide.
Is it like a mechanic championship, or are they talking about driving the cars?
It says race car driver.
Well, I don't think they might know some stuff. They could be very knowledgeable, but they were wrong.
The guy did go on to start his own Porsche shop. It did say this, but I'm like, those are the wrong qualifications to be touting when you're saying something mechanical. Like, great, the guy can drive around a track fast. That doesn't mean he knows about IMS bearings. Anyway, so I somewhat misleading there because he's trying to say that's not an issue. It's not much of an issue, but it's still an issue. But anyway, I don't want to hate on the listing too much. I just thought that was hilarious, especially all caps. But it is a great listing. Otherwise, the car is gorgeous. Meteor gray with Cocoa Sport seats, 19-inch optional wheels, low miles, stick, wide body, everything you want. And the guy who posted it for sale is actually Captain Positive, because a lot of people were making fun of the price or whatever. Yeah. And at the end of his listing, he just said, please respect the post. And people would say whatever they wanted. And he's just like, thanks for the input. Thumbs up. I mean, just Captain Positive. I'm like,
wow.
We need more of this guy. And like, can you teach the Corvette guys how to sell their cars?
I got to tell you, that's a pretty hot spec. I do love some Cocoa. You have converted me.
Yes.
I wish Cocoa was a 996 thing.
Yep. Speaking of Cocoa, I'm selling my 07 911, which I did not have checked by a licensed pro Porsche race car driver, but somebody messaged me simply IMS ? To which I responded, yes, it has one.
Good job. They all do, actually. But don't think too hard.
Soul and Spine wants everyone to have a higher quality of life. They specialize in non-surgical options for those who have been told that they need injections or surgery. They offer state-of-the-art techniques that help over 90% of patients become pain-free in just weeks. Starting with thorough medical history and comprehensive examination, you'll work one-on-one with Dr. Hoover to meet all your treatment goals. Their mission is to unleash your body's own healing potential to avoid drugs and surgery. Visit solinspine.com to learn more, located in Solon, Ohio. Thank you for joining us for Switchcast with Doug Tabbitt and Tyler Sanders, produced by Ethan Huffnagel. Switchcast is an automotive entertainment and opinion show, and nothing we say should be taken very seriously. We do not give tax, investment, legal, emotional, or professional advice, and the only licenses we hold are driver's licenses. The opinions expressed on this show are exclusively held by the people pontificating at that moment and do not reflect the values of our producers or sponsors. Our theme music is provided by Emily and Ivory. You can stream their full album on Spotify or SoundCloud. If you like this show, you can stream it in its entirety on your favorite audio podcast platform. Check out switchcast.live for more info.